Hi, this is Amy Ricker, and this is my e-portfolio for my practicum as a building leadership non-degree seeking student. I've been teaching 20 years in education. I'm a graduate from Fort Hays State. I received my bachelor's in elementary education, and then after a couple of years, I went back and worked on my special ed master's and received it. And then just recently, last couple of years, I've been working on my endorsement as a building leadership through Fort Hays State. So I taught 3rd and 4th grade in Salina for a couple years, moved to Western Kansas where I started teaching special education. My husband and I had our first son, Wyatt. He was born, and my husband stayed home, played Mr. Mom as I finished my master's degree. And then in 2005, we moved to Scott City. He went back to work in law enforcement, and I became a gifted facilitator for Scott Community School District and an assistive technology coordinator for High Plains, which meant I traveled all of Southwest Kansas, working with special ed teachers, providing technology for students with special needs. In 2006, our second son, Waylon, was born, and so after about 5 years of being on the road, traveling Southwest Kansas, I felt like I needed to be based here at home all the time. My boys were growing up, they were getting into school, so I switched back to being just a regular interrelay teacher for kindergarten, kinder prep, and preschool. So my professional goals over the next couple of years, I want to continue to grow as an educator. I want to grow in that leadership area and get stronger to use not only in the classroom but also as a building level administrator. With the passing of our bond issue just this past fall, in a couple of years, there will be an opportunity to implement some positive changes in our district, and becoming an assistant building principal as our new buildings open. I'm hoping to be eligible for that. And then I look down the road in 10 years after our boys are out of high school and off to college, and looking towards the end of my teaching career and things, and hoping to be an administrator in a position at a special education cooperative. Personal goals that I'm hoping, as a mom and a wife, I want to continue to watch my boys grow and become their own unique men. I want to watch them go off to college and move forwards in becoming strong adults. I'd like to see our family be able to finally move out to the family farm where we spend most of our time. And also down the road, I want to know that I can look back on my career as an educator and as a mom and a wife and know that I've put forth my best efforts. So my philosophy in education, it's just in a nutshell, as a leader, I am committed to lifelong learning, encouraging relationships, academic excellence, personal and professional growth, diversity, collaboration, open communication, organization, and responsibility. At the heart of a school is the people who make up the organization, and these individuals are the most important pieces to the success of a school. I very much feel like that communication is a key to success, and I think communication is something everybody can work on in any position at all times. And I want to take what I've learned in opportunities that I've had throughout my 20 years of teaching, and I want to use that to grow and try to make changes in a more positive area. One of my strengths and weaknesses in this area, one of the things I have to consider is we are in a profession where you will never be able to make everyone happy. We can strive to have the best intentions, but at some point we will have disappointment to ourselves or to others. These are the risks we take, and one of the weaknesses is I want to try to make everyone happy. That's one of my weaknesses. But as I'm getting older, I've had to learn that lesson, and I've learned to be a stronger and more confident person, and that it's okay to make mistakes and to learn from my mistakes. So my program is study. I'm a non-degree seeking student. So here are the classes that I have taken. I have 21 hours that I have taken. Oh, here we go, sorry. And here's my 21 hours that I have taken. My resume, Here's my resume. It's a very simple resume. I am one that believes that a resume should be pretty simple. It shouldn't distract from who you are and what your reasoning is. I feel like it should be an overview of you, and that when the time comes, your interview, your personal relationship, and what you bring to the table is what sells you. Activities, my annotated bibliography. I have a variety of articles here that I used. Several of them are things that deal with professional development and leadership, how to have more meaningful professional development, how to differentiate professional development. Some of my articles have to do with school start times and the effects that it has on teenagers and kids. Having a 13-year-old who's not a morning person, this was a big thing in my world. A few years ago, we, as a district, looked at changing our high school and having different start times to see if we could maybe make kids more successful and improve keep our dropout rate from going up. But just being in a small community, there were a lot of things to look at. Teachers, contract days, and things like that. And it just never evolved, but there is a lot of research out there. And I think it kind of goes back to that's why colleges have different times of days that kids can go to class. Some kids just do better mornings, some do better in the afternoons. Some of my other articles have to do with communication, and again, just being that more positive communication and having communication with faculty and students and administration, and how that's a positive to being more effective. And then I had a few articles about dealing with students who have difficult behaviors. That's a passion for me as a special education teacher. I deal with a lot of kids who have emotional and behavioral issues. So just a lot of articles that hit a variety of things there. Activities. Scott County School District is where I'm at. We get our special education services through High Plains Educational Cooperative that's based out of Ulysses. We partner with Garden City Community College for dual college credit. We have a private preschool, Golden Rule Preschool, that's located at the New Methodist Church. And then we get a lot of our in-services and things through Southwest Plains out of Sublette. These are different activities through classes I've done, presentations I've given in our district or at our co-op, or in different building levels, just different things to go along with district-wide, from professional development to internet safety to activities and things like that. The elementary level, our elementary houses a 4-year-old at-risk preschool. It houses a kinder prep program that's for kids who are 5 years old that are kindergarten age eligible, but maybe just aren't ready for the full day demands of kindergarten. And then we also have kindergarten through 4th grade. And again, these are different activities and things that I've presented in our building to grade school teachers to go along with elementary activities. And then at the secondary level, we have a middle school that houses 5th through 8th grade, and then our Scott Community High School, which is 9th through 12th grade. And again, activities that you can look at and see that I've done, from taking tickets to case studies to all kinds of activities there. Here is my log of hours and activities. You can click to see that. My administrator evaluation, or signing off on that. And the main thing is my reflection. And in my reflection, I talked a lot about, I look back over the years where I've been, what brought me here, where I'm headed, and knowing why I wanted to get into education years ago, to having that opportunity to further it into special education, and then having discussions with my husband and experiences I've had along the way that have pushed me to move forward and get my degree as a building level leadership and in administration. So those standards, I looked a lot at those standards. They tie in not just not one standard fits one activity. Usually multiple standards could fit an activity. And the thing that I kept coming back to in those standards, the thing that I always was drawn to and I felt I could tie in the most, was the standards when you're wanting to encompass in a vision or a mission with through communication, through community, different levels, different grade levels, different stakeholders, and also the safety, taking into account safety. Those were two standards that I felt tied into almost every activity I would do. One of my beliefs that I have as a building leadership position is having positive and open communications when dealing with everybody, especially parents and students. Especially as I work on individual education plans, IEPs, and behaviors. I've had to learn over the years that communication is a key, and having positive communication in some of those really hard conversations that you have to have with parents, and letting them know that your decision isn't going to be the most popular decision you make, but if you communicate and you work at having that positive communication, you can usually buy in, get those parents to buy in and understand why you made the decision you did. I work in a after-school program. I'm a coordinator for that program, and I've got to use that as a lot of my basis for the standards and different activities I've done. And I've had to work with funds. I've had to work with writing grants and budgets and managing accounts and state audits and scheduling and meeting with people and complaints and not only just with parents, but students and other people that are working the program after school. So I've worked at basketball games and setting up basketball games, worked with our athletic director to get referees and taking control of situations like that. So one of the questions I found myself asking when facing a decision as a building leader, am I making this decision that is easy and popular, or what is the best interest of students for their safety and for their education? And that's the key factor. And that's the thing that communication you have to have, is letting people know the reason why you make the decisions you make is you want to do what's best for the kid. We would love to take the easy way and do what's most popular and be this, popular person. But at the end of the day, is that what's best for the kid? Is that what kept the kid and other people safe? Is that what is going to help that child learn and make more meaningful decisions later on down the road? So sometimes we have to make decisions that are not popular, but as a school administrator, we cannot always be that person that everyone agrees with. Many times the community or a proportion of our community does not agree with our decisions, but they also have to know all of the facts. And at times you can't divulge all of the facts right away, due to confidentiality and things like that. But those are things that go into making decisions. And sometimes decisions are hard as a school leader. And but we have to do what's best at the end of the day for safety and for ourselves, for everybody involved. So upon completing my portfolio and the work for my licensure for building leadership, my views have remained the same. I still want to become a building leadership and principal and further my career in education. And at times it'll be difficult to imagine what education will be like 20, 30 years down the road, knowing where our society is right now. But factors such as parenting and technology, those are things we have to take into account. But we have to constantly be thinking about the future subject, of money and our state legislature and all of those things that go into our daily decisions. I want to become a principal because I want to have the effect on more students, not just in the classroom, but in our community as a whole. And I know that the decisions I make as a leader will have an effect on our whole school and our community every day. So I know that this will put more pressure on me as an educator, but I'm ready to take that responsibility on, and I look forward to those challenges and working carefully with our community. So this is my presentation of my electronic portfolio. Thank you.